Hey Doobs, welcome to another fantastic Doob radically steekly episode of Doob Radical. Sorry that one got a little crazy there, guys. Just did a little setup here. And sorry sometimes my beatboxing gets a little jamming at the start. I just really want to make sure that people get on if they want to watch right from the start. And I'm going to just go ahead and say that I'm going to play Metamorphosis from Tetris Effect one more time in the background. Just because I don't think it really shined through as great as I wanted to last time. So we're going to give it one more whirl, but I do like to mix up the jams. But hi, yes, thank you for joining me, Doobs and Doobettes. It feels like it's been a while since I've caught up with you. So, man, we've had a lot of leaks in the past week, Leak Week, I'm going to call it. We had a bunch of those. We got some gaming news to go over. And of course, we got the movie of the week. And I have another little extra goodie for this episode. When we're going to do a show of the week. I don't think I'm going to really continue that going on. But we got some fun games to talk. Just want to make sure we're all centered. We got the jams whamming in the background, so let's get right into it. And also, I just want to say, hope you all are staying safe. Hope your quarantine is going just as planned, and and all that good stuff. But yeah, hope you're staying safe. Really, thank you guys for supporting me as always. I always got to start by saying just thank you for letting me do my art and my passion. And it's always great to see you guys every week. I do this every Wednesday, so you can make sure to hit the bell, like, share, and subscribe so you know when I'm going live. And I like to do these episodes live. It feels like a TV show. No, it's not Saturday morning WB Kids, but Wednesdays are good. That's when I'm freest to do these and just word vomit all my thoughts about the industry because I love games. So let's get right into it. Don't want to take too much of your time. I know I'm a little slow and I get excited and I talk a little jibber jabber like I'm doing right now, but it's just great to be here. This is my passion, so let's just do it right now. Let's just get into the content here. Yeah, and I guess I haven't really thought of what I'm going to start with yet, but actually I do want to start with this. We got so close to 100 subs, and I just want to say thank you so much. I am still going to do my Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater full run in one sitting non-lethally, just as appreciation to you guys. We made it to like 97, 98 subs, but if you got some friends, please just maybe hand it off if they're gamers and they want someone who knows about gaming and wants to watch a channel with a local startup streamer. That's me, your boy Doob. So come show some love. Hey, what's up, Jeff? Yes, has made quarantine better. Yes, thank you so much. That's why I'm here. I'm grateful to do something that I love and can share from my own bedroom where I play by myself. So thank you so much for hopping on, and of course this is my buddy Jeff Hull 42, and he's the man, he's the legend. Also just want to give a huge shout out to my buddy Jer Bear. It was his birthday, April 28th, the same day that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot DLC came out, and I actually got it for him for his birthday, and we checked it out a little bit, 6 feet apart of course. And yeah, I love Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, and the DLC is very fitting, and it feels like there's some good content there. So if you still have Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, by all means get the DLC. There's a season pass, and this is only the first of what looks like to be 3 episodes for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, starting with the Beerus Battle of Gods. And we were kind of contemplating that it was going to go into the Frieza arc next, and then we also joked that it was going to be Bio Broly. We're going to get Bio Broly as DLC for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. But yeah, enough of that. Yeah, so that is some gaming news there. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, the first DLC, came out yesterday, so if you guys got that, it is very cool and worth it. And if you got the extra bucks and want to keep playing the game, I think the content is very cool there, so check that out. And yeah, so yeah, we got Metal Gear Solid 3, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna also do a Resident Evil 3 platinum speed run tonight for my last one, so you can check that out. But yeah, I just want to share a couple games. GameStop recently had a buy 2 get 1 free, so I checked out some awesome titles here. I got Alien Isolation. I never actually checked this one out, but I hear it's a great horror title. Yeah, it's by Sega. and it's no BS. It's a true first-person horror adventure where you actually don't really fight a lot. And I'm going to be streaming this, and I've watched some good videos. And I remember there being an Alien game back on the PS1 years ago that I tried, and I just couldn't get into it. It was too dark, and I was probably just too scared, honestly, to play it. But yeah, you had your little radar thing, and you'd go around and you'd try to cruise your way around the level without getting killed by these aliens. And I think that's a lot what you do here. So I'm really excited to play Alien Isolation. We got, the Dark Pictures anthology Man of Medan. The first one in the Dark Pictures anthology, and the second one was just announced coming this summer, and I never actually had a chance to play Man of Medan, and I really want to because I love these super difficult choice-based, story-driven games, and this is actually by Supermassive Games, the guys that did Until Dawn, and feels a little bit like Quantum Dream and games like Detroit Become Human a little bit, where you're kind of walking around point-and-click adventures. They're the modern day, but they are done at a fidelity, and they look great. The graphics are amazing, and this guy has Iceman from X-Men, and I can't remember much of the names, but we had Hayden Panettiere in the last one, and a couple other really cool names as well. So I'm going to check Man of Medan out, and we will be streaming these. And then I also picked up Black Sad. I'm kind of a little irritated that this isn't the special edition, the limited edition that I ordered for, but this is also another point-and-click adventure. Very under the radar. Looks very cool. Looks like there will be some really intense moments, and everyone's an animal apparently. You play as like some sort of cat detective, and I'm kind of thinking maybe along the lines of Wolf Among Us a little bit. So I'm really excited. Looks like this is done by Microids. I'm not really sure who that developer is, but Microids, I've seen some video. Looks like they've not maybe the most polished title, but I'm in it for the story, and I'm okay to let some of these flaws go a little bit to enjoy what looks like a very fun experience. So yeah, those are just some of the games I got, and let me know if you've checked any of these out in the comments, or but I'm very excited to play these, and but just wanted to share some Doob thoughts with you. But yeah, let's just get into the gaming news, and then we'll get into the movie of the week and all the other fun stuff that I have planned for the episode. But yeah, let's just start off. I have a list here. I tend to write notes and I take stuff down, so just take it as you will. I'll try to say if these are rumors or leaks. But yeah, so apparently it's been Leak City, Leak Week the past week, and I have a lot of fun stuff to share, some very hard news. But yeah, let's just start with Horizon 2, or Horizon Zero Dawn. Was a fascinating, very awesome, polished game that came out in 2017. And actually, I got the collector's edition. I'm just going to run and grab that super quick because I have a lot of other fun material to show you guys. But yeah, here is the statue for Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm just going to turn down the lights so you can see a little bit. Very cool statue. I actually picked this up in 2017 when it came out. And yeah, loved every second of it. And apparently we are getting, well, we're definitely getting a sequel. This made sold a bunch of copies. I love the title start to finish. I platinum it. I even played the DLC Frozen Wilds, very polished. And I'd say that this is one of the newest, most successful IPs for PlayStation, because a lot of the IPs for PlayStation that are really big are usually have been a thing already. But Horizon Zero Dawn was a first game. Oh man, I'm really trying to think of who this was developed by. It's kind of killing me. It'll come to me in a dream. But yeah, it was a fascinating title with a great story, and yeah, it's by Guerrilla Games. Now, yeah, Guerrilla Games developed this title, and they're actually known for Killzone, and they took a huge left turn developing this Horizons, and so we're gonna get a sequel. And it's been leaking a little bit that, so it is going to be a PS5 exclusive, but it looks like Sony games are being released on PC, like Horizon 1 is going to be. And so, but for the immediate year or so, PlayStation's exclusive will be an exclusive for about a year. And I guess this game is going to be co-op. And I think we got a lot of Sony has a lot of bullets loaded in their chamber for PS5, and yeah, like with the Demon Souls remake coming out for launch, and we'll probably be getting God of War 2 and Spider-Man 2. I'm not even saying probably, we're definitely going to be getting these games, because at the end of the day, video games is a business meant to make money, to support them and make the next game and the next game, and that's okay by me, because I think Sony has taken the great long hard road of crafting very polished, very story-driven campaigns. And actually, I know in an interview a couple months back, or even longer than that, Sony has said they're dedicated to story-driven titles with great, fascinating gameplay and the graphics that are unprecedented and unparalleled to the date. We've seen that plenty of times with Death Stranding, God of War, and a bunch of other titles I'm going to be getting into here. But yeah, so Horizon 2 is going to be PS5 exclusive. It's going to be co-op. It's going to be crazy. That's just the little tidbit I have there, but I just want to talk about Horizon as a whole because it was a great title, and if you haven't played it, it's an open world experience where it's tribal, but it's also set in the future, and I don't want to give too much away about the plot, but it's very nice, very addicting. So check it out. So yeah, Battlefield 5. I'm not a huge Battlefield player, but I know a lot of you like going online, kicking some ass and shooting some guys and camping around, you know, whatever it is, however you play these games. Battlefield 5 officially is going to close its doors and serve. I'm not sure if you can still play this game after the summer, but it looks like they're going to trickle out content, and it seems like in EA's eyes, this is a EA published title made by DICE, actually developed by DICE. But EA, this game sold 7.3 million copies, and EA still considers it a failure, and they blame it on, it's single player story-driven campaign, and that's a load of baloney. It's amazing to me how EA can be so successful and so greedy. It really shows that they're just greedy. I don't think they'll ever be happy. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that they're. It had a rocky game life, and I kind of like that just because it kind of shows EA that these single-player experiences are what the people want. But even when they sell double the copies that a successful single-player game would sell, they still deem it as a failure. And so I guess that they are not going to be supporting the game Battlefield 5. So if you're playing Battlefield 5, make sure to get all the matches in and all the stuff you can. Hey, if you love this game, by all means, go and play it. I support gaming, and if you like a game, even though maybe it's a little shady on the inside, it's still great. But it's faulty, and it's not. I don't really play multiplayer online games. I love Call of Duty for zombies, but not so much just the online shooter, and I've never really been into Fortnite. But hey, everyone's got their own thing, and that's why I love gaming. But yeah, it's just had a rocky game life, and no new content, and but I guess there has been an update here, and I guess EA DICE is the same studio that was working on Battlefront 2, and apparently they're stopping content for that to work on the next Battlefront. So that's actually another little leak that I guess we're getting another Battlefront, and I guess Battlefield is going to skip year, and I don't think we're going to be getting another Battlefield until 2022, but I guess EA is working on another Battlefront, so it seems we will be getting another Star Wars Battlefront 3. Hopefully they can launch this game in a solid state, whereas as soon as Battlefront 2 released, it was very clear that EA was after the money, and it started the whole loot box debacle. So I really hope that they fix it and don't look as greedy. Hey, you can have DLC, just do it right, just do it where it feels real. There's a bunch of penny pinching with just changing the color of your gun is like $2. You know, come on, F that EA. We're taking a step back here. Gaming is meant to take a step forward, and if you're selling shit like that, then I don't even want to put my hands on your greedy, grubby game. Even if I love Star Wars, and if you do one like Jedi Fallen Order, do that. Do a sequel for that game. I'll buy that game 3 times. Like I have a lot of games in the past because I love them so much, but I'm not going to do it to play, Fortnite or just like Last Man Standing over and over again. Hey, if you come out with a Call of Duty One in the Chamber in a game just based on the game mode One in the Chamber, I'll play that for days. But yeah, so that's kind of where Battlefield and Battlefront and EA is. They're making transitions. Time flies really quick. But yeah, that's okay. So yeah, I kind of wanted to update the Rocksteady thing a little bit. Apparently, so Rocksteady, the game developer that was responsible for Batman, the Arkham series, I guess they did pitch a Superman game to WB. WB actually foots the bill and pays for everything. WB pretty much owns the DC gaming realm universe, and they were saying that there's going to be a Court of Owls Batman game. Apparently, there is a Batman game still in development. But I guess WB passed on a Superman game because no one wants to be the next Superman 64, which is still considered to be one of the worst games ever created. So I think developers are just kind of scared to make a Superman game because it'll just be, you know, another butt end of the joke there. But yeah, so we'll see what Rocksteady is really doing. I'm just kind of searching my notes to see. Because I guess there were Easter eggs in Batman Arkham Knight about having a connected universe, kind of like what the Avengers is going to do. I guess there might be Spider-Man, but that's a whole nother story because then that would be tied to Sony, and I don't think they'll really do that. But that'd be really cool if we had some sort of connected universe in video games, and I really was hoping that maybe DC was going to do this because DC needs a bone here. Marvel's all good and done, and I guess if you're a DC fan, I think most of the really good content is in the comics and other media and TV shows especially. But yeah, I really just hope they can get their shit together when it comes to making a Superman game or a connected Justice League universe. So we'll still see where that goes. But yeah, speaking of Batman and all that good stuff. So yeah, NetherRealm. So just a little bit of a backup here. E3 has been officially canceled for this year, and it could be on forever, and they're talking about using other means to get content out because it's just cheaper and more effective to maybe have like a Nintendo Direct like they've been doing, and Sony has Nintendo Directs now, and that's kind of the way to get the news. But yeah, so in the cancellations of E3, we miss out on a lot of these huge announcements, so these leaks are a little bit easier to get, especially now in this the state of the world right now. But yeah, so I guess there's been talks of that we are, and I actually just kind of mentioned this when I was talking about Mortal Kombat 11 in my 2019 games, is that Injustice 3 is in development. So that got leaked, and I guess there's 2 story modes, and we're going to be getting fighters like Constantine. It is pronounced Constantine, I guess. I did my research, not Constantine, Constantine. So that'd be really cool if we actually got like a John Wick, Keanu Reeves Constantine. We're going to be getting Killer Croc, and my personal super looking forward to a fighter, Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen. I think he'd be a super cool fighter, and then we can customize all of his little Speedos. Or whatever he's gonna wear to cover his junk up. But so Injustice 3 really excites me. I actually spent a lot of time in Injustice 2. I got really good online, almost platinum the game, but didn't quite get there. But I had such a good time, and I love my fighting games, and I always dabble them in a little bit, kind of like Grand Blue, and definitely play the campaigns because NetherRealm makes a great campaign for their fighting games, and it's worth playing, especially. You get more out of it if you've been a Mortal Kombat or Injustice fan for a while. And Injustice 2 really amped up the bar for just having really good-looking fighters and having it flow very well. So I guess we are getting Injustice 3, and it's gonna be the end of the trilogy. So, and it will be for next-gen consoles. But yeah, it looks like we're gonna be having some really cool fighters. And just for another note, for Mortal Kombat 11, I guess there is gonna be a complete title package called Aftermath. With all the DLC. So I actually do have all the DLC for MK11. I just don't have the game because usually I pawn them off so I can afford all my gaming stuff. But I will probably re-get that and check out. Man, I really want to play as Arnie, the T800 model for MK11. And they have Spawn now too, so I really do want to check that out. So I'll be streaming that hopefully in the future. But yeah, so that's kind of the tie-in with the superhero news and stuff that's been going on there. All right, guys. Well, okay, I got one more little bit here. I guess the Final Fantasy VII remake Part 2 is kind of full-fledged and really getting going now in development, and it makes sense that they're going to try and get this title out as quick as possible because Final Fantasy VII remake is very relevant. It's kind of weird that they didn't title it the right way. I think that it's a little misleading. That people think they're going to get the whole Final Fantasy VII story, and I think there's people out there that don't even know that this is just part 1 of maybe possibly 2 possibly 3 parts. And I kind of wish that they released Final Fantasy VII at the beginning of this generation, and then we had part 2 maybe at the end of this generation. I think there'd be more just more of a connection there, and we kind of be like, okay, we finally got our Final Fantasy VII, both parts. Now we can move on to the next generation. It would have been a great swan song for Sony, but we already got that coming up in another game, which I'm going to talk about here. But yeah, so having a great time with Final Fantasy VII, and I'll definitely be doing my final thoughts as soon as I beat that game. I'm getting there, so bear with me. There's only so much time in the world. But yes, here we go, Doobs and Doobettes. This is the killer one. We've had Last of Us Part 2 leaked. The story is out there, and I've mentioned this kind of in my other videos, but there's been a disgruntled employee working at Naughty Dog, and I guess there was some sort of payment dispute, or this Naughty Dog employee felt shafted so much to the point where he leaked a lot of Last of Us 2 story points. So hey Jeff, make sure you're careful online. There's a lot of Last of Us stuff being leaked online, and I guess Naughty Dog is heartbroken. Neil Druckmann is heartbroken, the director, and I'd say Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson are probably like going after this guy Last of Us style. But I do have some thoughts on this though. I guess this employee must have been very, very unhappy to go to the point to leak a game that he or she has probably been working on for the past like 5 to 7 years, and just to see all this hard work get undermined in such a short amount of time. Because once something's on the internet, it's out there. There's no stopping it. People are copying and pasting and making their own websites and news articles, and then they just share, and especially in the comments, just revealing what happens. And I've heard a lot of people watching YouTube getting the whole game spoiled, and they will still be reviewing this game and playing it, but there's just that little thing at the back of that saying, I know what's going to happen, especially when we live in an age where video game stories matter. We're excited to see not only the game and play the game, but the story means so much, especially in a game like Last of Us. So it's really heartbreaking, especially in these crazy times we're living in right now, where these things are going to give us some solstice and some stress relief. It does have a new release date now, by the way. It is going to be coming out June 19th, and Ghost of Tsushima will be coming out July 17th. There's been Sony really had to quick say, okay guys, we're going to release this game now, and now that we have an actual release date, I think people are going to be re-excited for this game, even if they know the ending, because it's been spoiled and it's really sad. But the game is still coming. We would have been playing it in May. We would have been playing it in less than a month now. Now it's just a month and some change. But that's okay. I'm still very excited. I'm going to be avoiding the internet, and if you're part of the Last of Us crew, just be wary on the internet. And it's just really sad. But it's really, I guess, because Naughty Dog, I guess they do take care of their employees. But I'm going to have a sip of my Martini edition, by the way. It seems like Naughty Dog really does take care of their employees, but I guess the crunch right before a game is about to come out, employees have to work 80-hour work weeks, double, stay up long nights, and I heard some employees tweet that, I'm getting old and there's only so much time in the day, and I can't spend my whole life working on a video game, and I completely get that. And my heart goes out to them because they create such great masterpieces that I enjoy and will remember until the day that I die. Just because this is my medium, it's my passion. And I really do got to give credit to these developers that spend long hours. And it's sad to hear that some of them are pushed to the point where they want to sabotage their own game. And I guess hopefully this maybe just not teaches Naughty Dog a lesson, but maybe just awakens them to... I guess it's what they're saying. It's an unfeasible concept of doing crunch, and it's unsustainable where, especially when we're going into a generation where there's going to be even more tweaks and more time put into games because of the detail. You can't push people. People still need to live, and if your game needs another year or two to really be polished and also have your employees be happy, then take that time, because hopefully I'll still be alive, and I will sure as hell be waiting for when that game comes out. But yeah, so just with the leaks, so yeah, with The Last of Us 2, like the whole story is kind of just been leaked online, and yeah, so Ghost of Tsushima, they kind of announced it at the same time, where Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima are going to be coming out within a month of each other, which is super exciting. And I'm very excited for Ghost of Tsushima. That's going to be a Sucker Punch developed game, the guys who made Infamous. So they know what they're doing when it comes to games, and they're just shy of really becoming on that God of War level game where it's an absolute must play. And Ghost of Tsushima might be this game. Really hoping that's the case here. Sometimes we do get excited, like kind of like Death Stranding. Death Stranding was a huge title that we all thought was going to be perfect and amazing, and then it ended up being probably the most divisive title of 2019. And I'm on the side that thinks the game is amazing, it's great, and I think it should be played at least once, or at least for a little bit, by anyone who owns a PlayStation or just gamers in general, because it really does push that boundary of storytelling. And even though not even Hideo Kojima knew what the hell he was making, it's still its atmosphere. The game is addicting in its atmosphere, and you kind of want to know where it goes. And I mean, you don't get much better graphics and just detail than a Hideo Kojima game. So yeah, Kojima Productions. And I guess he might, I guess Sony is in the talks of buying Silent Hill, and I really hope that Hideo Kojima helms that title, because I guess he has been hinting that he's going to be making a horror title next, which is great, and I'm so ready for that, and I'm so hope we get more Norman Reedus fetus. Really don't know, but that's just kind of what's going on with Hideo Kojima and Sony, and man, the games industry and just employees working. It makes me want another drink here. So yeah, give Death Stranding a try if you can. It's gone on really discount now. So and I really do recommend it. I don't have an official review, and I'm trying to be critical in my reviews. I'm trying to be better about talking about the games. I know in my Neo 2 review, I was kind of just talking about Dark Souls a lot, but absolutely try that game. I think it's a phenomenal project on its own right, and I should revise my reviews a little bit more, but you know, I just kind of spew my thoughts like I'm doing now, and thank you for listening to me. Really do appreciate that. So yeah, I think I got all the news that I really want to talk about. There's been a lot this past week, and I think I just got what I wanted to. I don't want to drag this on too long, so we got more to talk about, more to chat about here. Hope you're enjoying the music, and hope that's coming out pretty clean as well for you guys. I love this Metamorphosis, and Tetris Effect, I think, came out in 2018. So yeah, why don't we just talk about the movie of the week now here, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, let's see what Doob's been thinking of next. And there's a lot of factors when I consider which movie I want to feature on my weekly Doobisodes, and I try to spread the genres out a little bit. So here is my movie of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look. Yeah, District 9. Look at that little 2009 gem right there. I am a sucker for sci-fi thrillers with really good stories, especially this was in the era when Bad Robot was on a roll with their movies. So Bad Robot is a company that kind of helps with motion editing, and they really made a lot of films get off their feet. Smaller indie projects like Cloverfield was also helped in part of Bad Robot, and they helped produce this awesome, amazing, still to this day, starring Charlton Copley, I believe his name. I just want to make sure I get his name right here. Yeah, Charlton Copley. I don't even think I'm saying it right. Really good actor, really kind of lesser known actor, but he's just one piece of the puzzle here in this crafted it was kind of, this movie came out when the found footage was kind of a big thing with like the paranormal activities and stuff, and so this is partly a found footage film, but then it really evolves into its own story, kind of like how Interstellar starts. To my boy Jeff, we're Interstellar heads, and that could be a movie of the week too. But it kind of starts out with a couple tapes of kind of the state of the world, and I don't want to talk about too much, because if you haven't seen this movie, for sure check out this movie. Check this movie out. It still looks great to this day. So it is an alien-based movie, as you can probably tell from the poster here. But it tells a great tale of a reporter kind of going out into this alien, not run, but alien, where aliens are kind of formed and cohabitate with humans peacefully in a way, kind of, but it has the underlying tone of more or lesser, more unresourceful countries, and just a real look at political views about how we can cohabitate, and especially if these cohabitants were from another world. And it's very documentary-like, and Charlton Copley plays an amazing reporter that you will want to see this tale until the very end. And it's got great action, and the acting seems just very real. And so Bad Robot, and I'm super into films A24, where it's kind of a more of a smaller, tight look at the overall tale that it's telling, where it focuses on the character story, but then it also focuses on the bigger picture, on the world here. It's got amazing alien design, and we get a good close look. I mean, the CGI is so well done that everything still looks real, even 10, 11, 12 years later when this movie came out. It was based on a short film project, and then turned into a much bigger film here with Charlton Copley. And it just kind of follows his tale of the story. There's no real story, and then the story kind of developed its own, kind of like I know this is a weird comparison, but kind of like Napoleon Dynamite, where we're kind of following a character without having a real goal, and then the goal kind of develops its own. So I really like that, actually, and just give this film a try. District 9. There was a supposed sequel in the works for a while that never came, but actually this is the start of kind of a universe trilogy where these movies are very loosely connected. So first we had District 9, then we had Elysium with Matt Damon, and then we had Chappie. So these three movies, I recommend any of these three movies. This is just the first one in kind of these Bad Robot, and they're all very similar, where they're kind of indie-driven experiences. But the CGI and the camera work is really amazing, guys. I gotta say, you'll feel like you're there. And it takes place in all these movies kind of take place in a real world setting, with just a nice added sci-fi futuristic twist. And I couldn't recommend these anymore, because I'm a huge in-depth close look sci-fi guy, and especially when they're done by companies like Bad Robot or A24, and that's probably going to be, they're more horror driven, where Bad Robot is more sci-fi, kind of, especially like movies like Super 8. Super 8's really great, where they don't really cast a shadow. They only cast a shadow on their characters for about halfway through the movie, and then they really do open up what the monsters look like, or what's really going on. So just for the pacing wise, these movies, you feel like you're not left out on any story beat, and you want to keep knowing what's happening. And I love it when the ending kind of leaves it open for, something to come. But so just check that out. I don't want to spoil too much, but District 9 is definitely the movie of the week for me. I actually watched a Charlton Copley movie on Amazon Prime called open grave or something like that. And then it made me think about this movie. I almost did the movie Twins is my movie of the week. And actually, Twins is a great movie. 1988 film with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. But it's funny how I kind of find movies. I was looking for the Twilight Zone actually, and I ended up stumbling on Twins because I typed in TWI, and I couldn't find Twilight Zone. So I'll watch Twins, and actually, Twins was a great movie. So sometimes when you're looking for movies and you stumble on something, just give it a try if you got the time. I really recommend it because you'll never know what you really like at the end of the day. When you give something a chance, and this channel is all about games and life talk, and this is a life talk part where just give it a chance. You might find yourself opening up to something you wouldn't have tried before, and then you just have more pools to draw from when you're talking about movies and TV and what have you. But yes, Twins is a really good movie. District 9, amazing, phenomenally good looking film with Sharlto Copley, and I love the smaller actors aspect because they really do give more of a believable performance, and it doesn't really take you away from the action too much. So very closely story-driven film, and yeah, if you're watching, Jeff, make sure just watch this one because it's a great one, and hopefully Team America was great too. So yeah, let's just keep moving on here. Man, now I just really want to watch District 9 again. I watched a little bit of it before watching this, but yeah, Bad Robot and Chappie and Elysium, also very great tales. So check those out. But yeah, so for this, while we're just on the topic of movie entertainment and drama, I also really, since we're a gaming channel, I wanted to just talk about this awesome Netflix series that you may or may have not watched. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Doobs and Doobettes, we have The Witcher. I really wanted to not promote this, but talk about this really good adapted adaptation of the book. It's mostly adapted, so if you played The Witcher, or if you know The Witcher, you know it was especially The Witcher 3 really kind of brought The Witcher into the limelight and promoted the books, and The Witcher really blew up. And actually the Polish, I don't know if he's Polish, but I think he's a Polish writer or something, but the writer got jealous that the game was selling more than the books, but people were buying the books because of the game. And eventually, so Netflix made a TV show, The Witcher, starring Henry Cavill and a bunch of other people. And I've only played the video game Witcher 3 and 2. I've played 2 and 3, haven't played the first one. And wow, does this show really stay true to the book? I've only played the games, but I could really feel the source material from the books presented in the show. It looks great. The Henry Cavill does an amazing Witcher. I was really skeptical about this show at first, because you know how video game adaptations go. They're always not really the best. Movies like Doom and Resident Evil. I actually kind of like Resident Evil movies a little bit, and I guess Netflix is doing a Resident Evil show, but we'll talk about that next time. But yeah, the acting is really good here, and Henry Cavill does a great Witcher, Geralt of Rivia, and it's in the first season is only 10 episodes, and it really does talk about what's to come here. Especially if you play the games, you kind of know where the series is gonna go. But it got me so excited, and I love it when the show or the movie gets me excited just as much as the game or the book does. I'm not much of a reader, but maybe I'll try to get on it one time. But I've been rewatching this Witcher series, and it really does make me want to play the games again. Follows the tale of this monster slaying, mutagen-based, warrior who's got some real deep thoughts. He's from a dying breed, and the monsters are really cool. But it also has a big theme of decisions. The decisions in Witcher aren't so black and white. They're always middling ground, where the characters will have to make a choice of the lesser of two evils, and it's written really well. and it draws very, very greatly from the source material here. And if you haven't checked out The Witcher, I'm sure you'll get hooked. Just give it the first 2 episodes. There's only 10, and they're true hour-long episodes, and the content is very good here. Yeah, it does kind of fast forward a little bit, and kind of get a little weird sometimes, but overall, not much at fault here. This is a great show, and if you're looking for something, especially now, to kind of watch at home on the inside, and you love video games and you played The Witcher, give this a shot. It took me a little bit to try, but as soon as you get past that first episode, you're hooked, and I've almost finished the whole thing in the span of 2 days already. So yes, toss a coin to your Witcher and watch this show. It's a fun ride. I just wanted to give that a huge shout out since we're a gaming channel, and it's very true to its source material. If you've played the game like me, you'll feel right at home. And Henry Cavill has actually beaten The Witcher 3 twice, and he actually drew inspiration from the original voice actor of The Witcher. He's some other guy, but he does it very well, and I gotta say, hats off to you, Henry. You've done a great job, and even if you don't come back to do another Superman, hey, that's okay with me. I think you moved on. I think you did a great job in that too. Why'd you say that name? Oh man, Batman vs Superman. What times those were in. But yes, just want to give that a shout out. So yeah, and I just kind of wanted to wrap up this episode. When I did my 2019 episode, it really got me thinking about games in 2018, and man, I'm not a Sony pony, but I want to give them credit because I do play PlayStation for the most part, and Sony always has things loaded in the barrel for each year, and that pretty much started for me with Bloodborne in 2016, and then we had Horizon Zero Dawn in 2017. And then, but Sony had way more in the book stored for us that we didn't really learn about until like E3 2017 and E3 2018. But yes, I'm talking about, let's just start out with what came April 20th, 420, April 2018 was God of War. Yeah, and this has been the game that has been talked about over and over and over again. It's still talked about to this day, but when this game came out, this was the must-play game that you had to check out. I did end up getting the Stonemason edition with this awesome-looking statue of Kratos and Atreus, and this thing is just awesome. I just really wanted to show this off to you. Yeah, and this really, there's few games that come out that you get to the credits and you're sitting there with your controller in your hand, almost letting it slip from your fingers, and your jaws on the ground, just witnessing what you played. And this was that game. I'm just gonna check off all the boxes here as far as story. Yeah, let's go. As far as story, gameplay, graphics, themes, any category that you rate a game by is an 11 out of 10. Especially if you've played the original games or have some history with God of War and you were a fan of it, and seeing how this game evolved in the next generation. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a departure. There was no jump. And they took the camera behind Kratos instead of a fixed camera. But I think these changes were necessary, and Cory Barlog did an amazing, phenomenal job, and his journey is incredible. I've watched everything he's ever been in. There's actually a 2-hour documentary on Netflix called Raising Kratos, where Cory Barlog really talks about how this game came to be, and it is a truly special game, once or twice in a generation. And I know we've had many great games like Death Stranding and another game I'm going to talk about here in a second, but God of War 2018 is a game I think that should be played by pretty much anyone who loves video games. Yes, it is a violent game, and I think games can be more than violence, but it's the character development of Kratos and the themes, and really more of the dialogue that comes out of this game. But the action is great, the enemy design is great, There's so much fun and a true story that really develops start to finish. Even Nathan Drake makes his appearance. Nolan North is in the game, and there's just, especially the beginning, every story beat is just like wow, wow, wow. I know I'm focusing on my inner Owen Wilson here, but wow, seriously, wow. I just thinking about it, I can picture it in my head, and all I see is sparkle and glitter. Because I really did just want to talk about this game because I'm a huge gamer, and God of War just kind of revitalized a lot of gamers' passions. Like, man, I haven't seen a game like this for a long time, since like The Last of Us. I mean, really, there's games that come out, like I think Last of Us, yeah, was PS3's swan song, and that was like in the news because it was such a gritty, heartfelt game. These games that really get a lot of press is because they have a lot of heart, and in Last of Us and God of War is a phenomenal tale, transitioning from Greek mythology to Norse mythology. So that's a really cool aspect right there. Yeah, we didn't get a whole lot of details how Kratos came to be from these two very different time periods, but I'm sure we'll get more of that in the for sure sequels we're getting. And I'm so glad that Cory Barlog, he spent so much time and he had to fight so hard to get this game on shelves, and when it finally did, I watched the where he goes on Metacritic and finally does looks at the reviews, and he just starts crying because you can just tell that this man has poured so much love, and him being a father himself. I mean, there's he talks about how, because he actually was so David Jaffe actually created the original. He was the mastermind behind the first God of War on PS2 in 2005, and in Santa Monica studio. You know, has come a long way. But yeah, Cory Barlog, he was like almost a freaking teenager when he worked on God of War 1. He was the director of God of War 2. And Stig Asmussen was the director of God of War 3, and I'm pretty sure Cory was working on that game. But Stig did his own thing. He did a great job. I think God of War 3 was phenomenal. And then we had God of War Ascension, which was a prequel, and I'm actually not sure who directed that one. And there was some great online elements that tried to expand the game a little bit, but God of War felt like it kind of had its run, and we thought for sure God of War was just done. There was a couple portable titles, but there wasn't really anywhere for the story to go. But man, were we wrong. Cory had this idea in his head where he's like, what if we just pick up Kratos and his big beefy muscles and transport him to a whole nother era where there's a bunch of different gods like Thor and Baldur and a bunch of people we see in God of War 18. And I just gotta say this, because if you haven't played it, or you haven't even watched a Let's Play of God of War, somehow experience the story, because it's truly so much more than a video game. It's heart. You can tell that Cory Barlog grew up as a person and really poured that into his game, becoming a father himself. And there's great themes of family and father, and Kratos has a hard history, and you can see that way developed in this. And I'm trying to think of the actor's name who played Kratos. But some super beefy guy who did a great job, and I can't wait to see him again. We're definitely going to be getting a sequel of this game, probably even another trilogy, but it's also just fun to see that we can, especially like Resident Evil, games can be reinvented, and Resident Evil 4 is actually similar to God of War in the fact that they've kind of reinvigorated gaming. Resident Evil 4 was that genre, that not genre, but it was that generation defining game in 2000, also in 2005. Yeah, so 2005 was a great year. First God of War came out for PS2, and then Resident Evil 4 was actually originally exclusive to the GameCube, and then came out later that year in September or October for PS2 with actually downgraded graphics. It's actually GameCube is a more powerful console than PS2. It had more processing power, but you could really tell that it looked way better on GameCube. Granted, it was 2 discs on the GameCube, and PS2 was just the 1 discs. But I'm getting a little off topic here. It's just my gaming knowledge just kind of farting itself out. But yeah, God of War just reinvigorated a lot of gamers' passions, including myself, where, you know, I was kind of just playing games, and I thought Horizon was great and everything, but when they announced God of War, and then I played God of War, and then I beat God of War, there's really not much like this truly crafted experience. And there's no cuts, there's no loading screens. I mean, well, there's loading screens, but there is not one cut in the whole game, and that was kind of a big aspect of just selling how graphically and technically amazing this game was. There's no cuts. You play the whole game, and it's just one continuous B-roll like you see in a movie. Like if you ever seen Children of Men, I think it's still got one of the longest running no cut. And you really do connect to a game or just anything more when there's no cuts and you just kind of see the action. Like me, I'm an uncut, unscripted, uncut gem head-ass mofo, and I just talk to you guys, and I hope you guys can just take my 2 cents for what it's worth and have a beer while we're doing it. But yeah, so I really had to just bring up God of War as it stands taller than any other experience I've really ever played. And yes, that is including Horizon and Death Stranding and the next game we're going to talk about here. But Last of Us made me feel this way. God of War made me feel this way, and I'm hoping Last of Us 2 make me feel this way. I haven't gotten into any of the spoilers, so I'm just gonna keep my head down and go from there. But yeah, let's just talk about one more game that came out in 2018, and of course, this is the other game that Sony released. Sony has 2 or 3 AAA super mega titles that they come out with, and yes, we have Spider-Man. Marvel Spider-Man, as they call it, that also came out in 2018. And we also did get the super cool collector's edition statue here. Man, these things sell like crack on cupcakes. But yeah, this is a super cool statue. He's kind of standing on all the defeated foes. They actually had to cover up the box art for this because people weren't sure entirely who the baddie was. And of course, we see Scorpion's tail, Vulture's like jetpack, and just a couple of other really cool things from all the baddies in the game. But again, kind of much like, not quite on that God of War. I mean, definitely like maybe 0.2 points below God of War, but it was still a very crafted experience, and I couldn't wait for another Spider-Man title where we finally swing around the city in great fashion. The first time we really did this was in Spider-Man 2, based off of the movie that came out for PS2 and Xbox. And man, that pizza delivery music still runs in my head. And but I just remember Spider-Man 2 back on that generation really hit home. I mean, I love the movie, and of course I was gonna get the game. And but yeah, then we had Spider-Man 3, and that was really fun. And then we had Ultimate Spider-Man, where we played more of the comic book Peter, and you could actually play as Venom, and it was cell shaded, and I love cell shaded graphics. I'm really glad we still see cell shaded graphics today. But that being said, the gameplay kind of suffered a little bit and felt a little stuck together a little bit, just a little clickety clackety. And then we had other really cool Spider-Man titles that I've played them all, where we had Web of Shadows, where we actually swung around and you could choose if you wanted to be good or bad and go with Mary Jane or Black Cat. And then we had Edge of Time, and then we had the other it was kind of interesting how they did Edge of Time. I'm trying to think of that other one with the 4 Spider-Men. There was Edge of Time, and then there was another one. And the one with the 4 Spider-Men focused on Noir, Ultimate, Amazing, and the Symbiote Spider-Man, and then the 2099 Spider-Man. And then Edge of Time just focused on regular Spider-Man and 2099 Spider-Man. And those weren't open world web sling. They were more linear focused kind of like Spider-Man 1 on the PS1, where they're kind of straightforward levels where you could still swing around. But still didn't quite feel like that Spider-Man experience we were looking for. And then, of course, Insomniac Games comes and blows it out of the fucking water. Insomniac Games are the guys that did Ratchet and Clank, and then they did the Resistance series. Man, if you guys remember that Resistance on the PS3, I loved Resistance. Again, first-person shooters, and then they kind of transitioned to this super well-known IP and a third-person action world, action-adventure type game. And I'm so glad that we finally got the Spider-Man experience I was looking for, and I felt like I was playing a Spider-Man comic when I was, I'm just going to say this, minor spoilers, but when I was fighting Rhino and Scorpion at the same time, I truly felt like I was Spider-Man, and he was joking to them and making fun of them while I was just dodging all their attacks and making them attack each other. And then, of course, I only play video games for the costumes, and they had so many costumes to choose from while still keeping some in the dark, so to speak, for the sequel. I guess we are going to be getting the symbiote story in Spider-Man 2 on PS5. That's also kind of been leaked and hinted at. Yeah, take that as you will. We're definitely going to get a Spider-Man 2, and this was also Sony's other heavy hitter for 2018, and all these games sold exceptionally well. And this is really the heart of Sony's success here, is these huge super triple quadruple A developed titles that are really selling like crack on cupcakes. And they have plenty of games that are actually exclusive only to PS4, like Neo. Granted, they are on PC as well, but I think Sony accepts the fact that PC is always going to be around, so they're also super woke on the idea that, hey, we should have, these games are great, everyone should play these games, but not give it to Xbox or Nintendo. So they make their PlayStation exclusives available on PC about a year or two later. So they make them open to the public, and then they probably get some royalties too there. But I'm really glad that they do give more people an opportunity to play these games. That took a long time to make, because I mean, that's really the developer's dream at the end of the day, is for people to play their game after spending so much time, regardless of what console or contract they're in. So yeah, Spider-Man was such a... I even have the Spider-Man PS4 Pro, actually. I was so excited for this game. I just went all out, and I finally got my Pro. And in the graphics and everything feels right here. It's like God of War. It just works. I'm quoting the Fallout guy. I can't think of his name right now, but it does just work. And if you haven't played Spider-Man, it's super cheap now. And the DLC is the DLC that is done right, with some really cool added story elements and an extra bad guy too, that I guess means for sure we're not going to get in the sequel, but that's okay. He's kind of a minority one. But yeah, it just hit it for me, and that's kind of, I guess I'm just going to end this video by saying that's why I love Sony. I would love to get an Xbox, and I'd love to check out some of their stuff, but they just don't produce this quality content that I get from Sony on a regular basis. Because I know in 2018 we had these, so we had God of War and Spider-Man, but then we also had titles like Persona 5 and Neo was in 2017, and there's and Grand Blue Fantasy Versus is also only, or actually no, that one is on Xbox, but there's a lot of games that really are only specific to PlayStation and PC, and I'm a console gamer, so I'm gonna get on PlayStation. But if Xbox really does do more steps to make me want to buy their games next gen, then yeah, hey, I'll definitely get a Series X. But just for as far as now, I'm not seeing them making games like Ghost of Tsushima, or even trying to attempt to make a game like Last of Us. I'm just kind of waiting for that. I know Gears 5 did really well, or it looked really good. But it still wasn't that. That game that you had to play like God of War or Last of Us. They just seem. They always seem to fall just shy of that. You have to buy this console for this game, Mark. And I'm actually kind of excited to see what Microsoft has in store for next gen. They've bought up a bunch of companies, and Insomniac is a first-party Sony developer now. They actually did buy them out, but Microsoft bought a bunch of like Team Ninja and Obsidian Games. Outer Worlds is the last PlayStation 4 title that will be on a Sony console because they're officially owned by Microsoft, and I know they're gonna do really great things. They created like the original Fallouts, I think, and we saw gameplay for Hellblade, or not a gameplay, but we saw a trailer for Hellblade 2 that looks super phenomenal. So I'm really excited to see where Xbox goes in the future, and where Phil Spencer has kind of been talking about a lot. We've been hearing news about things, but what are we really going to get in the chamber here? Yeah, let's go indeed. Hey, what's up, Horse Master? Yes, thank you for joining. I'm just about wrapping up here on this fantastic Doobisode. But yeah, I just kind of want to finish off by saying thank you, Sony, for the quality, heartfelt titles that we had. Go and watch District 9 if you haven't seen that, or Elysium, or anything by Bad Robot. Super 8 is really good too. And let me know if you've checked out Black Sad. Can't wait to play this game. I'm just going to turn this down really quick so we can see this. Yeah, let me know if you played Black Sad, this cat detective, Man of Medan that I just got, which is the guy from Iceman on the cover there, and then Alien Isolation. Would really be excited to just talk shop and see what you guys are playing, or what you're enjoying yourself with the quarantine time here. Gaming has really helped me get through these times here, and I can't wait to yes, Horse Master, I can't really wait to just delve into more titles that I've kind of missed out on, and share them with you, because gaming is my passion here. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Doob Radical Gaming. Don't want to drag it out too long here. We had some awesome jams by Metamorphosis in the background, by Tetris Effect. Maybe I'll re-pick up that one so we can play that together. Hopefully I don't get copyrighted. Yes, and we did such a good job almost getting to 100 subscribers, and that's okay. I'm still going to play Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater in one sitting, non-lethally. That'll be fun. And tonight I'm going to be playing Resident Evil 3 Remake, also for my Platinum one sitting run. It should only take about an hour or so you can check that out. I'm going to do some things before we hop on that at 8 p.m. tonight. But otherwise, Doobs, thank you so much for joining with me. And just going to go ahead and get that out. And yeah, so these Doobisodes come out every Wednesday at some point. So make sure you hit that bell, like, share, subscribe, get all the goody content that your boy Doob has to offer here. And thank you so much, Doobs and Doobettes. Of course, as always, we'll be right back.